I have a Sony TV that is currently experiencing the boot looping issue. So it turns on, it shows the Sony logo, the Android logo, then freezes and shuts off. This is the XBR-55X810C, and we're gonna show you how to diagnose it and how to fix it. So let's get started. So I've laid the TV down flat on the table. We're gonna start by removing the base, the stand. I'm then gonna remove the power cable next. And to remove the power cable, there's a little clip in the center. I'm gonna press it down and wiggle it out. Now I'm gonna do the perimeter screws. So keep in mind, there's a couple of screws that are for plastic and the others are for metal, so just keep track of which one goes where. Then we have 3 plastic screws over here, and 4 where the wall mount was originally. And I have one last perimeter I forgot about right over here. Now the back cover should lift off. So we'll give it a little wiggle here. There we go. With these model TVs, we most commonly see the cycling that we're experiencing caused by our main board over here, and more specifically on a component level, the eMMC chip down here is the root cause of that failure. Now it can be a hardware fault, meaning the eMMC chip itself is defective, or it could be a software fault, meaning the software on the eMMC chip could be defective. Either way, we do need to replace that chip in order to fix this issue. So our next step is to remove the main board from the TV, and then we'll bring it to our Rework machine to do an eMMC replacement. To remove the main board, we're going to go ahead and first remove the clips, starting by our power cable up here, followed by our LVDS ribbons. So there's 2 different mechanisms. For this one, I'm going to press in the center clip right here and then gently wiggle it out. And for the second one, I have 2 black clips on the edges, so I'll press those down simultaneously and again, gently wiggle out. For this cable, we'll want to press on the edges here, so I'll do that with one hand and with the other, wiggle out the wires. There we go. For our audio clip, just in the center. And now we can go ahead and get the screws. Now for this side, I do have some screws hidden under the shroud, so I am gonna remove it first. So that's all of the screws. The board is going to be stuck a little bit to the chassis of the TV, and that's because we have some thermal pads on the back. So you do want to be gentle and just wiggle it off slowly. And there we go. We have identified the cause of the fault and we have removed the culprit from the TV. Before we begin our repair, if you liked the video so far, make sure to leave us a like and subscribe for more content. Otherwise, we're going to get started on a component level repair. If you want to send in your main board for repair, we do have flat rate services with a 1-year warranty. We'll have links to our website in the description down below. Now let's get started. All right, so Juan's going to be using our Rework machine to replace that eMMC chip. So the reason we're using this fancy machine is because this is a BGA type chip. So it does not have any legs. It only has solder balls below it. So this is the only way that we can properly desolder it. So we have our top heat, and we also have heat coming in from the bottom as well. It'll simultaneously heat up that chip from the top and the bottom until we reach the solder's melting point. So here we're raising the bottom heater to the board. And of course we have our fume extractor here. All right, and then it begins. This is about a 6-minute cycle for it to hit the proper temperatures. So we'll come back in about 6 minutes. So we have our board on the machine. In the meantime, do you have an eMMC prepared? How did you program it? How do we get this eMMC?
It's actually right here, and I programmed it with the EasyJTag programmer. Just right here. Our program is right there that we used to program it. So I'll go ahead and insert a brand new eMMC, and then I'll go ahead and check it with this button right here, and it'll let me know whether the life is good, if it's been erased or programmed before. And after I do that, I will go ahead and we'll select the write all eMMC regions at once, and then I'll just open up my file here and select the largest file and just click open. Then we hit write all ROMs and it'll start programming, and it's usually like a 17-minute process.
All right, the machine just beeped, so that means we have reached temperature. All right, we've removed the original chip. Before we put our replacement, we do need to clean up the pads. So that's all the original solder from the chip. We'll remove that, clean it off. So the first pass was to remove the bulk of the solder. The second pass is with the desolder wick to remove the leftover. So final clean with the isopropyl alcohol, and now we can go ahead and put our new flux. That is our Amtech flux that we're going to use. It is a no clean flux. And now we can go ahead and place our newly programmed eMMC chip. Now these chips do not come pre-programmed, we are programming them ourselves. All right, and now the reattachment process begins. Okay, the machine just finally beeped, which means that the attachment process is completed. So we are leaving the heating element on at the top and at the bottom. Once it finishes the profile, it'll actually start cooling in a specific way. So we're just gonna wait about 5 minutes and then we'll grab the board. So we did finish the repairs up to the board. We haven't tested it yet, but to check in on the original eMMC, we're gonna go ahead and test in the programmer and see what the programmer says. All right, so we're detecting it. All right, and what does it say?
It's not doing too good. It says urgent right now. I'm going to check the smart report. And yeah, it's pretty much showing the same exact information.
So it does say exceeds its maximum estimated device lifetime. And as Juan just mentioned, urgent. So it is urgent that we replace that chip, which we just did. So we do have the main board back into the TV. We're going to plug it in, power it up, and confirm everything's working. All right, we have our Sony logo. And you'll notice that this is actually a different Android logo that's booting in, and that's because of the software on the eMMC that we put installed. It is the original software that's on there when you first turned on the TV for the very first time 7 years ago. That's the software we put on, and we're gonna need to update it before we give it back to the customer. So now it's booting it all the way through to the Android logo, which it didn't before. And now we have our initial setup screen. So we're just gonna run through that real quick and then we'll do some HDMI checks. Okay, so we do have our Fire Stick plugged in and we have our audio, we have our video, everything seems to be working. So we do have another successful repair. Again, if you wanna send in your main board for repair, we'll have a link in the video description down below for our flat rate service, which comes with a 1-year warranty. Again, if you like the video, make sure to leave us a like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.